It's wonderful that you've done so much work since Ben's murder, and it's wonderful that you've managed to turn such a tragedy into a positive. But we'll come to that a wee bit later, Brooke. First of all, for those who maybe have forgotten the ins and outs of exactly what happened in 2008, tell us what happened.
So it seems crazy to say, actually. It's been 8 years now since we lost Ben. He was 16. He'd just finished his GCSEs, and he went out one night to celebrate that, and quite simply, he didn't come home again. We lost him to knife crime. He was murdered by 3 men that night. And it's my family have never been the same since, really. And
this is something that obviously, Linda, you know only too well how difficult that night was, because your Louis was involved.
Yeah, Louis, they'd gone out for their 16th birthday. They'd just finished their GCSE. Sorry.
Oh, they just finished
their GCSEs, and they went out to celebrate the night. And then that's what happened that night. It's never, you know, well, your life's never been the same again. Your family's life's never been the same again. Yeah. And it's just amazing the work that you're doing, and the exhibition that you've set up, showing there's 3 roads that you can take in the exhibition. They take the exhibitions to schools, and it's also at Finsbury Park Library now. It's based there all the time, and it shows, you know, young kids the road that they can take. There's 3 roads that they can take. One ends up to someone being dead, you know, prison, or, you know, or a family losing someone.
And how did you come up with the idea of this? Because obviously it's actually such a simple idea, because, you know, somebody went out, well, actually a load of them went out that night with knives. Now, you could say they were having it because they felt they were in a rough area and they needed to defend themselves. But they went out, and in the end, they used it, and a young boy died. In the exhibition that you're trying to show young people that they have a choice to make, how does it work, that there's three different paths that they can go down?
So the exhibition is a 6-room exhibition. We have a real-life prison cell in there. We have actors in there. The idea of the exhibition came about because after Ben died, we were looking through his belongings in his room like crazy people, just trying to get any memories of him that we could. And we found his English coursework book, and he had been set a piece of homework, and he had to write a letter to the current Prime Minister saying a issue in society that he was most worried about. And at 16, what Ben was most worried about was the safety for our young people on the streets. And he wrote this letter, and he called for more stop and search powers, and he begged Gordon Brown to make changes. And in this letter, he said, you know, we're going to be having the Olympics soon, and how can people come over to our country and not feel safe? Look is what is going on in our streets. And as a family, I had no idea that he was that worried about what was going on in our streets. And as a family, we said, this is where we have to start. This will be Ben's legacy. We will create something that, you know, that will hopefully try and instigate those changes that he wanted. And so we have an exhibition. It tells Ben's story, but it's not just about knife crime. It's basically about consequences of your choices in life, and that's what we try to make young people understand. What you do now will affect so many people.
And you've also spent a lot of time in schools, haven't you, Brooke? You know, speaking to young people.
Yeah.
What kind of responses do you get from them?
So for a good 2-3 years after Ben died, I would go up and down the country talking to schools, but it takes it out of you, you know, telling the story over and over again. It doesn't get any easier, and that's why we created the exhibition. We've had 7,000 children through our doors now, I think, since we opened a few years ago, and the response is varied, but on the whole, it's incredible, and you just see these kids looking and listening and engaging, and that's all we can ask for, really.
And Louisa, how did you come to get involved with this? Because people might, on the surface of it, just think, oh, you must have known each other through EastEnders. There must have been that sort of connection.
We actually met because of the trust, didn't we? We have a mutual friend who said, I think it would be great if we did a massive, like, charity challenge to raise money and awareness. So we met for lunch to discuss it, and then that was it. We started planning it, and then that's
and that was Machu Picchu. We did Machu Picchu, and then we cycled 200 miles from Paris to London. And now we've just done the 3-peat.
And it nearly killed we cannot, because the 3 of us did Ben Nevis. Was it last year we did Ben Nevis, or the year before? And there was a lot of the 3 Peaks people doing the walk, and we were just in awe. But I mean, to do that, it's in 24 hours, isn't it?
Don't ever do it. It's utterly horrendous.
We actually thought it was going to be the easiest one that we've done so far, because every 2 years we do a challenge. I was like, it'll be fun, it'll be a lovely weekend. And the day before, it was like weather warnings everywhere across the UK, and we were like, great!
And how much did you manage to raise?
We raised almost £30,000, so...
That's wonderful.
Thank you, everybody.
And Linda, You're patron of
Most
the charity.
of it was this one, I have to say. Thank you. She just kept sending texts. I was like, Linda, stop it now.
For more Loose Women action, click here. And I'd subscribe if I were you. It's totally free and it means you'll be kept up to date with new videos and exclusive YouTube content.